some of the unexpected things. But what were you going to say?
Chief can speak to this, but I believe you're averaging 3 positions, currently 3 positions.
And now, are you incurring overtime there to cover that or not? So see, that's the difference. Those actually may be costing us more than if you had it filled, whereas some of the other departments, the money is just not used, you know, yeah.
I think the bottom line for me is, no matter what the emergency is, you have to have the people there to take care of it. And if you don't have the people there to take care of it, it's an even bigger emergency. And I feel like we have to take care of our own. Yeah.
I agree.
I agree that we have to, we don't live, and I've always said this, we don't live in the same world we lived before. Everything has gone up. I mean, COVID didn't help at all, and we are where we are, and we have to make it work. I can guarantee you, I know half these people that are in here can go right up the street and make way more money in a pinch. And we need to not let that happen. And I'm very grateful for each and every one of you, because that can happen. And we're aware of that. What?
I said you're grateful even for Greg Stockton.
Even Greg, man, even.
A little more.
So yes, it has to happen. It's not something that.
Back to what you were saying, Steve, I mean, the bottom line is we can't have huge amounts in the red, but our top priority has to be the people. But, I mean, I would challenge this council to, when you say we have to pony up and back it up, and then we have to cut somewhere in our budget. I'd be willing to bet if we really dug down into our budget into other ways, we will find $100,000 somewhere. Quite possible. I know you're pretty detailed with your budget. I'm not saying that at all, but I mean, I'm thinking of a couple of things right offhand that if we're only with the 0.75, if we're 118, I can point out one thing right now that is going to bring us 80 to 90,000. You know, there's going to be something that is hurtful no matter what. But you don't cut. When you look at this comparison, I don't see it as we have a choice, because they have to be able to live as well.
So, and just to clarify my comments, maybe, I'm not saying I'm uncomfortable going 128 in the red, but I don't want to needlessly go 228 in the red.
That's how I took it, and I agree with it 100%, and I'm having to learn that, because I'm a very frugal person, and I'm a line item person, and so when we go, 50,000 in the red, I like start getting hives, but I realize kind of when you're running something like this, you're always it fluctuates, right? I mean, so I can just chill out a little bit on some of the stuff that I'm getting stressed out over, but I also agree with Steve. We are here for the rest of the community as well, and we can't, we do have to be responsible with the budget, I mean, I do feel like 128,000, I feel like we're going to be able to clear that. If we go, much more beyond that, I think we're going to struggle to clear it, and I don't want to be put in the position again to do an incremental tax raise, if I understood that correctly, and that type of thing. So,
That's just something you can do, it doesn't mean that.
No, I know, but I feel like if we make smart decisions the first time, then we don't have to continuously come back and redo things.
Yeah, and just to reflect on that, one year we deferred the raises like 6 months out or something, we did half of a raise and then another half, and it just was not a good thing. It didn't work well.
The day when they gave 3% and you got 1.5.
Yeah, it wasn't worth the effort and all, and it just ended up, so I don't think doing that kind of thing makes sense. The addition you called so we've got, basically, as I understand it, for all the employees, it's $2 an hour, which is some 12, or I guess 13% or on an average salary. And then salary people is like 6%. So overall, it's that 14% increase. But when you're, I mean, I guess I'm restating a little bit. I mean, I think it's warranted they made the case for doing it. It's just that when we're dipping into reserves, you know, they're not there, they didn't magically appear one day. They're there because in councils and city administrators and whoever in years past had budgets in the black year after year after year, and that's what caused those balances. You know, if you think of it as your own personal bank account, it's a little easier. You know, the way you saved money in the past and you built up these reserves for an emergency, and then, you know, so this year we're using it, and that's the beauty of the 5-year plan, is that he's projecting that if we do what he's asking us to do, then in years 3 or 4, that's going to return, you know, back to the black again.
Yeah, even though year 3 shows a negative of $33,000, I guarantee it won't be in the black by then.
Right, and there's some, you know, some other economic development things. I mean, hopefully the boulevard's going to get redone like it's been promised, and there's some opportunity for some economic development on the end of Meandering there that we talked about that might, you know, work for us as well.
I'll be the one negative one on this. I'm for this budget. These employees earn every dime of this. And I think y'all, it amazes me how many people have risen from the police department up to chief. That says something is going right there. Not having people sign up less than 3 a year, that's pretty scary. I checked in other police departments, not city police, and they all say the same thing, pays a big chunk of it. It's not all of it, but it's a big chunk of it. What I have problems with is you got earmarked money that in an emergency situation we can't touch. The TERS is a new deal, I agree with the TERS, but when we got the TERS, that can do things that EDC does, and money could come out of there once it builds up. I just think this year, with the debt service being added on top of this, that we owe the taxpayers to say, we didn't raise that part of the rate. This debt service is a whole different deal, and I think I'm for the .73 myself. Dipping a little more into reserves isn't going to matter that much. And the way the property tax came in on the business side of the TERS was way more than Marvin said, and that's probably where our economy should be going. We should be getting more in next year if we never get parts and stuff in it. But I just can't see giving it the whole dime.
But, you know, keep in mind, based on the average home value, the difference between the 72 and the 75 is some...
Yeah, I know, it's one dinner a month, I've heard that every year.
Well, it is, man.
You know, one dinner a month, yeah. $5. When do the citizens benefit from?
Where are y'all eating when it's $5 a month?
Where do the citizens benefit? The quality of life that we can give them. I mean, because we do have a police department, we do have...
Well, that part I understand, I'm not disagreeing, I'm talking about earmarked money that we can't touch. A little bit of money out of EDC would have bailed this out for this year.
Okay.
It would have, Dan said it last year, what's your idea? I don't want to kill EDC. You put that out that I wanted to kill EDC. I didn't want to kill it. Kill it means it's dead, it's gone, it doesn't exist anymore. I wanted to turn it into a board and give them the money. Say, okay, you need $400,000 this year? Here you go. But if we have an emergency, hey, wait a minute, guys, you may have to back off that project for a few months. It's just hard. It's like me going borrowing money from my dad to go buy a car, and he show up 2 weeks later with mag wheels and a loud radio, and he goes, where'd you get that money? Oh, well, I had that saved. That wasn't for this.
But the same inflation that you're saying that we all are experiencing as our home, you know, in our individual lives, the city is seeing that same inflation of 8%, yet our tax rate, we're not even wanting to go up 3%.